In a heartbreaking revelation the king has made in recent past has just resurfaced, and it reveals something very grim about His Majesty's future. Over the last few years, his relationship with his second son Prince Harry has become one of the most complicated and talked about family issues in the British royal family. Many people think their growing distance is because Harry and Meghan stepped away from royal duties, but the real reason for their silence goes much deeper. As shocking as it might be to consider, it's less than 2 years since he published his Roman Aton Dea, a book that carved a swath through the bestsellers list and the sleepless nights of Buckingham Palace corridors. But in a line in chapter 1, in spare, we need to revisit when the Duke had flown back for the somber day, and Charles and Prince William had joined him to talk. In the ensuing conversation, he writes that the king begged his sons, "Please, boys, don't make my final years a misery." But today that final years is but a throwaway reference. You'd have to assume, well, it's a different story entirely. There'll have been green shoots and signs of hope, things that are going well after the king starts and continues to undergo weekly treatments following his cancer news. His doctor signed off on him undertaking October's hugely successful tour of Australia and Samoa, and taking an 11-day break from his treatment regime earlier this month. A source close to His Majesty told that Charles is doing very well, and that's very apparent, but sets against the backdrop of the year's events. That reference to his final years takes out a much more ominous and depressing hue. What's clear is that the discovery of Charles's cancer has ended up and overturned whatever sense of certainty formerly exists when it came to the calculus of how much time he would have on the throne. The poll shows that the number of Britons who have a negative view of the monarchy has risen since the much-loved Queen died last year, with over a third of people now having either a very negative 16% or fairly negative 177% view of the royals. It also is said that the number of people with a very positive view of the monarchy has also fallen from 31% to 20%. The coronation of King Charles on May 6, 2023 has done nothing to secure the monarchy's future. The royals' £250 million PR operation in May failed, said Graham Smith, speaking for an anti-monarchy Republic group. The cost of the historic royal event is just a fraction of the amount spent on Queen Elizabeth's state funeral and related events in 2022, which came to $162 million. In the UK, 18 million more people tuned in to watch the event unfold on their TVs, with viewing peaking at 20.4 million. As the king was crowned just after midday, the remaining £50.3 million was spent by the Ditums, funded by the Treasury, according to the annual reports of the Cultural Department, which was responsible for organizing the coronation. The king was mindful to have a smaller and shorter ceremony amid the cost of living crisis. With the royal source said that the 76-year-old monarch was conscious of costs and plans for the event were scaled back, but due to it being a historic state occasion, balance was needed to reflect the grandeur and global significance of the event. The Ditums described the coronation as a once-in-a-generation moment which provided an occasion for the entire country to come together in celebration, offered a unique opportunity to celebrate and strengthen our nation's identity and to showcase the UK to the world. The department said that the event had generated more than 100,000 news stories, reached an estimated global audience of 2 billion people in 125 countries. His coronation took place over a long bank holiday weekend and brought a huge boost to the hospitality industry as revelers flocked to pubs, restaurants, and cafes to celebrate the crowning of the new monarch. Ahead of the event, it revealed that the coronation was expected to provide a boost up of £1 billion to the UK economy due to increased revenues from tourism and hospitality. The coronation big lunch took place on the day after the crowning, with Ditums stating that it's celebrated by 1 in 5 people in the UK and raised £14.4 million for charity.